UConn head coach and friend of the show took my advice. I texted him yesterday and said, yo, you can't leave. I got no one to root for in college basketball if you leave. I do root for Izzo. I do root for Illinois State, and I do root for Indiana. But other than that, I got no one to root for. I don't care about Butler. Purdue's a good story. I do like Purdue. I got no problem with Purdue. But anyway, long story short, I like UConn because I like Danny Hurley. Well, Danny Hurley took a look. Danny Hurley took a look at the Lakers' job, which he should. Danny Hurley decided to stay at UConn, which, hey, I don't know if he should or not, but it seems like, to me, it's a much better fit staying at UConn than it is going out to L.A. and dealing with an aging LeBron James and a not good enough Bronny James. And I don't know what the hell has happened to Anthony Davis. That's a whole different story for a whole different time. Now, I'm going to read to you my New York guys, my New York producer's description of what went on here. Friend of the show has turned down the Lakers' 6-year, $70 million offer and will return to chase a third straight national title, where L.A. would have made him one of the 6th highest paid coaches in the NBA. Screw you, Lakers fans. Ha, ha, ha. A massive win for college athletics and perhaps an indictment on the actual allure of coaching the Lakers and LeBron James at this stage. Yeah, look, they're not wrong. You know, here's the deal, though. You can't really take everything at face value. I told you this before. When Tom Izzo was talking about going to the Cleveland Cavaliers, Dan Gilbert, the owner of the Cavaliers, a Michigan State guy, wanted Izzo as his coach, was going to offer him a ton of money. All Izzo wanted to do was talk to LeBron James, then the star of the Cleveland Cavaliers, but he couldn't get to him. Couldn't get through the maze of people that apparently a young basketball superstar has guarding him. There's some women can get through, but I digress. Here's the deal. You couldn't get through. So, yes, on the surface, it seems like a win for college basketball. It's certainly a win for UConn. However, I don't want to say that it goes against the allure of the Lakers because I don't know. I don't know if Danny Hurley got a chance to talk to LeBron James. And if you're not going to talk to LeBron James, even at this stage of his career, then you can't become the coach of the Lakers. I don't want to go in there after not having a conversation with the superstar. And the superstar can kiss my backside. If you're going to get coaches fired, then you ought to be involved in the hiring. It'll be interesting if Danny Hurley ever discusses what went down. It'll be interesting to see if, in fact, he had a conversation with James. And if he did, how did that conversation go? Maybe he had a conversation, or maybe he didn't, with Anthony Davis. Look, let's be honest. Going back to Showtime with the Los Angeles Lakers, Pat Riley, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Irvin Magic Johnson, Pat Riley said it best. You have to have a great relationship with your best players if you're going to coach in the NBA. And if I'm walking into the L.A. Lakers, and again, I don't know the relationship between Danny Hurley, Hurley's family, and LeBron James's family, or Anthony Davis's family, I don't. I can only imagine it's not a great one. I can only imagine maybe it's one of mutual respect, but I'm not saying they go share those billion-dollar wine dinners that Popovich and his crew have. That would be my guess. So you better know them, you better get involved with them, and you better figure it out. And if you can't take the job. It is literally that simple. Here's a little backstory. Danny Hurley saying that he would never leave UConn, and he stood up to his word. Here's a few months ago. Let's cut the bullshit. How much Kentucky offer you?
It never became a thing ever. Like whatsoever. My conversations, obviously your agent tells you, because when you have the success we've had the last 2 years, you obviously, here at UConn, obviously you want your staff to be rewarded. You want the university to double down on the investment so that we could stay at the top of the mountain. So, your agent tells you with the media, basically try not to say no without saying no, be evasive as possible so that you don't, hurt his ability to get the things that he needs at UConn, to just be totally honest. But, I think I told him very early on that I have no interest. My wife, my family, we have no interest. Why would you leave the current best program in the country? Why would you leave the best program to go somewhere else?
Hey, he's not wrong, and he was true to his word. But you had to listen to the Lakers, and he had to have his agent listen to Kentucky. Now, think about the flex, you kids' words, that this is. Think about the flex that he did. He turned down Kentucky, and he turned down UConn. Turned down the Lakers in 1 year. Wow. It's pretty strong. Good for Storrs, Connecticut. Good for Danny's family. Good for college basketball. A little trolling by the UConn men's basketball Twitter site update. Our 2 p.m. practice is underway. There was all kind of speculation. He's moved the practice from 2 to noon, noon to 2, whatever, and people were running around. And yesterday, actually, there were police on campus to protect against any potential rioting. Interesting stuff out of them. Here is, according to Pete Thamel, the impact of Danny Hurley staying. Danny Hurley's decision is massive for UConn. If he'd let players have 30 days to enter the portal, and it's virtually impossible to run a full coaching search in June. UConn keeps a Hall of Fame caliber coach, avoids a thorny transition, and keeps a top 5 roster. That's right. Pete's exactly right. Look, it is hard to all of a sudden go on a search. And think about it. If you're going to replace Danny Hurley, who are you going to get? I mean, it's really difficult. It is. It would be really difficult. The UConn athletic director had to be very happy. But going back to what Danny said in our interview with him, you know what? Doubling down. That means give me a little more money. That means give me a little more for our program, or at least a lot more. And good for Danny. That's smart. You don't want to stay. When I was at Bowling Green, we stayed. Kent was always building, adding. And I couldn't get Bowling Green to do anything but because we had hockey. Anyway, I digress. Caitlin Clark, who must be in every segment, every time, on every show, well, she discussed Danny Hurley staying at UConn.
Given that you are a huge basketball fan and we are located in Connecticut right now, the big basketball news today was Dan Hurley not going to the Lakers and staying with UConn with college basketball. What does that mean for college basketball and just for basketball in general?
I mean, shoot, 2 really good options. He could have, he had his choice. I mean, obviously I have no idea what the conversations were, but I really admire him. I love his intensity. I think the way he coaches the game is amazing. The way he coaches his players is amazing and holds them accountable and really gets the most out of them. I've really loved watching them over the course of the last couple of years, and I think it's cool he's staying in college basketball. I think he really loves it, and I think he loves being around those young men, and obviously he makes them great. So I've been a big fan of his and big fan of his program, and they've been fun to watch.
Hey, that's OutKick exclusive, courtesy of our own Danny Z, who's coming on the show in a minute. Man, does Caitlin Clark handle everything perfectly? No, seriously. I mean, you look at all these idiots around her, all these race baiters, or all these white dudes in Indianapolis that can't handle themselves, and she just handles herself absolutely perfectly, and she's asked to be a spokesman about everything. So let me go back to Danny Hurley. Good for UConn. Great for UConn, actually. Fantastic. UConn gets its coach back. They don't have to go through a search. Good for a lot of other schools, too, because what would have happened? The trickle-down effect. But I'm not going to say this is bad for the Lakers. The Lakers will figure this out. I don't know how much coaching LeBron James matters at this point. It seems like everybody that goes there gets their ass fired. Frank Vogel, professional coach. He was there, won a title during COVID. Next thing you know, he's out. Darvin Ham comes in. Darvin smooches, ass. Next thing you know, Darvin, ass out. I mean, how much does coaching LeBron James really matter at this point? I mean, it seems like they've given Jeannie Buss and Pelinka and everybody else over there, Pelinka, has given the franchise to LeBron James. They've sold their soul to the aging veteran. You know they're going to end up with Bronny James. I mean, who really cares? Seriously, Lakers are boring. It's hard to watch their games on TV because the stadium is too dark. They need to fix that. And LeBron James and Anthony Davis, a.k.a. Street Clothes, he's always hurt, so screw him. And, of course, LeBron James is aging. Great, but aging. So it's not really that interesting. So I applaud Danny Hurley, and we can all say, we can take a deep whew, because college sports, as we know it, is not ruined. Oh, the hell it isn't. The typical gas bags can't shut up. Ryan Clark knows nothing about sports, but Ryan Clark is on ESPN, and he gets these deep thoughts. And, of course, it's all about race when he has nothing else to say or doesn't know anything about it. But He claims too many people who know nothing about the WNBA have felt compelled to talk about the controversy that started in a January 1st game, when, as we all remember, the shot heard round the world, Chicago Sky guard Kennedy Carter shoved Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark. Well, of course, Ryan Clark has to chime in on it. I mean, how could you be an activist? How could you be a race baiter if you don't chime in on an African-American woman shoving a white woman? You have to. You must. What's crazy? Yeah, it's crazy. Always when people say what's crazy, like that means they're kind of stupid. Anyway, what's crazy is I feel like men are missing the boat. Oh, good. We should probably follow the women who have always supported women's basketball. No. There's a privilege for the younger white players in the league. Yeah, bite me. That's what the women are about. And I think it's more on the men's side. We're being divisive. So for me, it's about how do we watch this game, analyze this game to continue to evaluate this game. Hey, shut the hell up with that privilege. Let me tell you something. The privilege that freaking Caitlin Clark has is in your eye hole privilege, meaning she shoots it and, as the great Scott Van Pelt says, sticks it right in their eye hole. Screw you with your every white person that is successful is not successful because of privilege. Kiss my ass with that. A lot of hard work goes into it, whether you're a white girl, black girl, Asian girl, Hispanic girl. It don't matter. So shut the living hell up. I've had enough of these idiots. I'm not following any woman in basketball. I'm following me. I mean, 10, 12 years in a film room with Bob Knight says I'll put my basketball knowledge up against any woman following the WNBA or any man following the NBA. Need you. White privilege. That's all the stupid have to go to. Let me ask you a question. What white privilege does Caitlin Clark really have? See, this is how dumb they are. People have not been able to figure out, well, some have. Some people with brains, both black and white, have figured this out. She plays like Steph Curry, and that's attractive to us. You know, a big post woman like Angel Reese falling down, barely getting the ball over the rim, playing under the backboard is sixth grade basketball to adult men. Caitlin Clark, jacking up threes from the logo, is Steph Curry. And I've said this forever. Like, I've said this until I'm green in the face, blue in the face, anything in the red in the face, you name it. I don't know how people are that stupid. Well, I do know how people are that stupid because the race baiters got to chime in because, well, that's all they have. If you asked Ryan Clark about Caitlin Clark's game, well, right privilege. No, it's called in your hole privilege. Honest to God. The idiots are out in full force, and I've had enough of them. I have. I'm sorry. I know we're not supposed to. I know we're supposed to shut up because of whatever the reason and let these clowns on ESPN, these diversity hires on ESPN speak. Screw you. It has nothing to do with white privilege. Who are the privileged white women in the WNBA? I mean, I'll hang up and listen. Tell me who they are, you dumbass. But that's all they got to say. That is all they can say. That's it. Well, who's they? Ryan Clark, race baiters, dumbass race baiters, white and black. So shut up with that, too. Damn. Michael Porter Jr. thinks Caitlin Clark could score in the NBA and then weighs in on the trans athlete debate. Michael Porter Jr. doesn't think that trans women, men, whatever, should compete against women. He ain't wrong, and he's an idiot if he thinks Caitlin Clark could get a bucket in the NBA. I guess you could stand in a corner, hope everybody helps, and get a bucket. But she ain't bringing the ball down very well against the women of the WNBA, and she sure the hell isn't going to bring it down against Drew Holiday and others. Just stop with that. And who cares whether she could or not? Who cares? Like, that's not the point of all. You guys are making me nuts today. I'm sitting here coming off a great win last night, down 4 with 6 holes to go. I went birdie to get us back in, then drained a 15-footer to send it into overtime. I don't know what else to tell you. But I got to read about Michael frickin' Porter's dumbass and gas bag frickin' Ryan Clark. Bah! What's next? Stephen A. Smith? Oh, yeah. So Stephen A. Smith tells this Andrea Carter to her face that she will be underpaid for the rest of her life unless she gets serious about marketing. The stupid that you just talk about every day. Drawing a connection to the U.S. women's Olympic team not selecting Caitlin Clark. Bad marketing move. All right. Well, let's go in order. So here's Michael Porter Jr. talking about Caitlin Clark.
I think Angel Reese could get one on you. Think Angel Reese could score on you? Come on. Caitlin maybe, bro.
Caitlin's cold. That's the one girl that I was like, okay, if she was in an NBA game, defense, she would get cooked. But offensively, like, she'll knock down some corner threes or like a swing three. Like, she actually would, because she can shoot from that far. But no, most women can't compete with men, and I don't think men should be able to transition and play with women. That's just, bro, that whole conversation just that irritates me.
Yeah.
Even if
Well, that's what I said. Yeah, maybe you can stand in a corner and knock in a shot. That's great. Awesome. She ain't bringing the ball down. It ain't about defense either. Go stand in a corner. And you know what? There's a place. P.J. Tucker's made a late career out of standing. It's a dumb conversation, and I'm not having it. All right, here's a poll we put out. Will you, listen to this, will you be watching the women's Olympic basketball without Caitlin Clark being on the team? Won't watch it all. 2,610 votes. Yes, still watching. Yeah, I don't believe 96% of people can agree on anything in this day and age. I just don't. I know I'm probably wrong about that, but I just don't. But it is pretty funny. I will tell you, I am not watching. Not a chance. Look, it's nice outside. It's sunny. I don't know what the hell time it is in Paris. I guess it's 6 hours ahead, so it'd be like 3:30 in the afternoon, which actually isn't bad. Wake up and watch some hoops. I'm not watching, but I've never watched. And I don't want to hear from any gas bag idiot, well, you're racist for not watching. Shut up. No, I'm not racist for not watching. I'm selective. Now, one of the things, and I'm not going to do it, and it pisses me off, is I've always wanted to watch the 100-meter final. I've always wanted to watch the 200-meter final in the Olympics. I have. It's the only thing I'm really that interested about. I understand some 5'8", 4'2", little 12-year-old spinning around on a bar is exciting to a lot of people. I do. I get it. Not to me. I like fast. I like the 200. I like the hurdles. I like the relays. I like seeing dudes and women go fast. I do. I'm enhanced by it. I also like to watch volleyball. And I ain't mad at the swimming finals, but I can't watch the preliminaries. I just can't. I'm not the guy, even though the U.S. Open starts on Thursday, I'm not the guy that on Thursday can sit down and watch the U.S. Open. I'm not the guy that can watch an exhibition game or a preseason game. I watch golf on Sundays. I watch finals. I will watch rounds of the playoff because there's elimination. But I cannot watch all the crap that they put on. But I will say this. Said this yesterday, and a lot of you have been smart enough to understand it. If I'm NBC, I am hiring Caitlin Clark to work the games. That's right. I am. I'm not hiring her as some ditzy sideline reporter to walk up to the basketball players. I'm not doing that to her. And if I were Caitlin Clark, I'm like, yo, unless you want to pay me 9 figures, I'm not doing that. But I would hire her to be a correspondent. I would hire her to have some involvement in the women's portion of the Olympics. She's the most popular woman athlete on the planet. She's incredibly well-spoken. She comes off on TV great. I'd hire her tomorrow. But I'm the smartest guy in media. I understand stuff. You'll see this start to come out. I talked about it yesterday. You'll see suddenly this will start coming out. People will be like, maybe they should hire Caitlin Clark. When Caitlin Clark goes on TV, people pay attention. All right, back to the dumbasses. So, people just don't know how to act around or about Caitlin Clark. So Stephen A. Smith and some lady named Andrea Carter are going back and forth because Stephen A. Smith feels like Andrea Carter is going to be underpaid her whole career. I would argue that she's incredibly overpaid right now. Like right now. See, here's the deal. Here's what guys like Stephen A. Smith don't understand. Like anybody that's an analyst at ESPN is replaceable tomorrow. Yes, Andrea Carter, I guess, is good. Yes, she'll sign a long-term deal. Yes, she comes off, I suppose, on TV. Okay, yes, she's African-American and a woman. All right, checks the boxes. So, yes, she's always going to have a job. But no, she will never be overpaid. She will never be underpaid. She will get a better deal doing TV the way the market is going than she could get doing anything else. That is not a slight on her. That's just how we all are. I make more money doing this than I can do anything else, and I might be the smartest business guy you know. So don't at me about it. But anyway, here's these two clowns actually arguing about this on national TV.
Andrea, I strongly suggest you rethink such positions, especially when it comes to you, because marketing matters. It's how you get paid. If you don't know that, you better hear me and hear me good. I am telling you right now, you are going to be underpaid for the rest of what I believe will be an illustrious career, unless you get your mind right about that marketing. It matters. It matters. Janae, you know I'm right.
I hear you.
You know I'm right.
I hear you, Stephen A., but I will not sacrifice my basketball knowledge and my integrity in terms of the game for marketing. My marketing is doing just fine. And if it has to
Team
grow
USA
a little bit
has.
slower to hold on.
Team USA has. We've had ample
the
evidence
basketball
where they've done it in the past.
Yes.
Excuse me. I just finished
And
saying
maybe
they've
they're
all
not
done
trying
it.
to do it this year.
Stephen A., can I
I
say this,
understand that.
Andrea?
I understand that.
Andrea.
Can you imagine that's on national TV? Can you imagine the stupidity of listening to Stephen A. Smith talk like that every day? Don't give me that black-white stuff. You guys know that's bullshit. You guys know this is all crap. Shut up. I mean, honest to God, that's a discussion on national TV. Some girl nobody's heard of with a guy yelling like he thinks he's a combination Muhammad Ali, Baptist preacher, and Joe Biden. There is some Joe Biden in there because he's just saying words. Don't misunderstand saying words with actually saying things. If you transcribe what was just said there, it's literally the dumbest conversation from both. What is it? Something, my basketball knowledge and integrity. What? Okay. Jesus. I won't compromise my basketball knowledge and integrity. Oh, all right. Oh, okay. Well, I guess. Can you imagine, seriously, that's a conversation on a sports show on national TV. That's the level of stupid we are at. You are welcome for having a show like this. My God. Chiefs Rashee Rice. Now, Chiefs Rashee Rice has had a bad spring and summer. He ran his car into 8 felonies, or at least 8 felony charges, walked away with his guns and his idiot friends, leaving people hurt in the street after going 120-some miles an hour in a rented Lamborghini on a highway in Dallas. Fast forward, he gets in an altercation at a bar, which has quietly gone away, or maybe it hasn't. I haven't heard anything about it. I looked it up today, and there's really nothing forward on that. Then, of course, when you get into trouble, people always look in your background, and he and one of his dumbass friends shot up the car of Kendrick Davis, star point guard of SMU. I would say one of his classmates, but how the hell does anybody know if anybody goes to school anymore in the NCAA sports? I certainly don't. All I see is Lamborghinis and gunfire and idiots. But anyway, that's the deal. That's where we're at with this guy, Rashee Rice. But Rashee's talking. This is going to be so cute. Being grateful for every day, Rashee says. Nothing is possible without the grace of God. Hold on a second. See, here's what you got to understand about football players. I've said this forever. The 3 things. I'm a man. Only God can judge me, and I'm moving forward. In fact, I made fun of these idiots on the Colts for that, and one of them used it. One of them literally followed me on Twitter and then used it when he got arrested. It's the funniest stuff ever. So now Rashee Rice, a guy that takes a gun, allegedly, and shoots up a classmate's car, now, nothing is possible without the grace of God. Oh, really? Oh. So we just out here trying to share the love. Really? Was that the love? When you and your idiot friend crashed into people, didn't even see how they were? Grabbed your guns and walked out of the accident like you were something? Is that the love? And be blessed for every opportunity we get. Really? There isn't a human being. Now, I understand how this goes. Some people will say, see, He's a changed man. What have I always told you? It's always the same people, going back to Steve Howe, relief pitcher of the L.A. Dodgers back in the late 70s and 80s. It's always the same people. There'll be another incident with this dummy. Oh, we just out here trying to share the love and be blessed for every opportunity we get. I've learned so much from the off-season issues. Well, yeah. Really? Good. What have you learned? What have you learned? All I can do is mature and continue to grow from that. Now, what about the people you crashed into? You know, there are some people in this society, just some, including probably 99.999% of your teammates, that understood before the offseason, that understood before this newfound maturity, that, well, you don't go 120-some in a Lamborghini, particularly when you obviously can't drive. And then if you do and you crash, you at least have the human decency to walk over to the people you wrecked and see if they're okay. But not Rashee, because he's a wide receiver. Rashee catches a football. Yeah, well, now he's growing up. Oh, okay. This is a step in a better direction for me. Oh, accidents and stuff like that happen. Really? They do? Shooting up a teammate's car just sort of happens? Going 126 miles an hour in a rented Lamborghini, flipping it, crashing into 8 people, getting yourself 8 felonies and having guns in the car and walking away, not giving a rat's ass about anybody in the accident, just happens? Swear to God, this is the dumbest thing I have heard. I hope we put this out somewhere on Twitter, because this guy is a stone idiot, a menace to society, full of shit, and we'll be back in problems in a minute. This is the most nonsensical bullshit apology, and whoever his agent is or whoever put this together should be fired yesterday. Accidents and stuff like that happen. Yeah, you know what? Some guy's stooping my girlfriend, so I'm going to go shoot up his car. It happens. Come on. What are you talking about? Oh, here it comes. You know what's coming. So we got God. I'm a man, I'm maturing. Here it comes. You know it's coming. But all you can do is kind of move forward. I hope your ass is in jail. And walk around being the same person. Really? So you want to be, after this bullshit, you want to be the same person that wrecked, caused disruption in 8 people's lives, got yourself some felonies, walked away with guns with your idiot friends, shot up a car, got beat up or punched or whatever, some photographer at a strip club or at a club. But you don't want to change? I'm telling you, this is the dumbest response I've ever heard from an athlete, and 99.99999% of athletes' responses are complete bullshit, stupid, idiotic, self-serving, and ridiculous, but this one's even worse. But all you can do is kind of move forward. I'm a man, God, and I'm moving forward, and walk around being the same person. Well, really? And try to be positive, so everyone could feel your love and your good energy. Really? I mean, did those people you crashed into feel your love, your good energy? Did the point guard at SMU feel the love, or did he feel bullet holes in his car? Huh? Did some guy taking your picture feel the love, or did he feel punches to his face? You know, there's a level of stupid that permeates our society, and that level is taken up even farther by athletes, and it's taken up even farther by young athletes that had success and have absolutely no idea how to handle it. It would be very interesting to me to see who helped this clown write this piece. It could not have been his father. I don't know if he has a father. Well, he's got a father. I don't know where his father. I don't know. Maybe his father's at home. Maybe he's got a great family, but it could not have been his father. Could not have been. Could not have been any agent of any repute. They would have looked at this and said, hey, dumbass. Maybe it was him. Maybe that SMU degree is really paying off. Or that grades, I don't know. But this is incredibly stupid, and I don't care. If you're going to be honest and not be racist on one side or racist on the other side, you're nodding your head in agreement with what I'm saying. This is a level of stupid unseen by even athletes. And frankly, it kind of pisses me off. Yeah, it does. I mean, to be so cold to people that you crashed into by walking away with your guns, of course, because, well, you know, I got one in the hole and I got my strap on. Idiots, morons, absolute dumbasses. I don't know what's going on here, and I don't like it. UFC President Dana White proclaimed that Donald Trump is the greatest fighter of all time. I would agree with that, as he reveals why he is still voting for Trump despite his felony convictions. Let's hear from Dana White. This is a great show.
One thing about the former president, he wants to be the next president again. You know a fighter's heart. You stare in more fighters' eyes than anybody else to see what's in there. Where does he rank at 77?
Number one. You take any of the greatest fighters of all time, Trump is number one. The most resilient human being that I have ever met in my life.
In what respect?
Why keep doing this? You know, you got money, you got a great life, you got whatever. Why keep doing this? And the one thing that I can tell you, and this is a fact, this guy loves this country, right? And he loves all Americans, regardless of what color, religion, or whatever it is. He's not a racist. He's a good human being, and he loves America, and he cares about this country. Period. End of story. If he wasn't that type of guy, I would never even associate myself with him.
Right.
Yeah, there you go. I believe that. Like, I don't know, and I've said this about Cam Newton. I'm starting to say it about Caitlin Clark, and I'll say it about Donald Trump. Cam Newton, when he was in college, did something that I just couldn't believe. He just stared right into those cameras every game as people were crushing him and his dad over allegedly his dad wanting to sell him, whatever. And, man, all he did was look at those cameras, smile, and go win the Heisman Trophy, go win a national championship, go undefeated. I have so much respect for Cam Newton, and now I'm starting to be this way about Caitlin Clark. Every idiot out here can't even act decent around her. They can't. Everybody's got an opinion, and the same thing with Trump. I mean, Trump walks into a blank storm and just kind of stands there and looks around. Takes shot after shot, felonies, this, that, and the other thing. I'm 1,000% voting for Trump, and if that makes you help make up your mind, good. If it doesn't, good. But, again, 350 million people on this earth, and, hey, we're all going to have our own opinions. And my opinion is I like people like Cam Newton, now Caitlin Clark, who just take punch after punch and just stand above it. And that's what Trump does. Now, Trump will get a little down and dirty, obviously, and he's had some missteps, obviously. But I'm with Dana White. That dude fights. And I don't understand why Trump's doing it. Trump could have avoided all of this by simply staying in his job, whatever that was, back before he won the election. He could have. 2015, what does he need this for? He was a great follow on Twitter and had real common sense on Twitter before he ran for president. I remember people on Twitter saying, hey, you need to run for president. I'm talking about 2015, that kind of stuff. But he's right. I mean, he seems like, I'm sure there are some bad things. He's a pig, whatever you want to say. But he was never considered a racist until he ran for president as a Republican. In fact, he was the darling of the Democratic Party, particularly the African Americans in the Democratic Party. They needed money, they went to Trump. They had a party, they invited Trump. He goes to the Republican side. Next thing you know, he's a Nazi, he's a racist, blah, 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 blah. No. No, I agree, man. He is a fighter. Now, he's the opposite of Draymond Green. Draymond Green is a petty little bitch. Oh, biatch. Sorry. Draymond Green says it hurts him to see Jordan Poole get rewarded to a big contract and not be able to celebrate it with him. Really? Okay, let's hear from the resident dumbass of the NBA, one of them.
For me, I've tried to teach and instill everything I know into this man right here because I felt like that was my duty. Take a young guy under your wing, and then you see them have success. It is the best feeling. By the way, it was the same thing for me with Jordan Poole. When I took JP under my wing, and to see him have success, was the best thing for me. One of the worst feelings I've ever had as an NBA basketball player was seeing him get a contract and knowing that I it off and I couldn't celebrate his contract with him. I think he had like a party or something with his people in San Francisco or something, and like to not be able to go celebrate that with him. And I off like I did. I ain't gonna sit here and act like I did not it off. I take it on the chin. It is what it is. I don't hide from my just like I don't hide from my wins. When I talk to y'all about the wins I have, and I tell you, don't let us win another championship, and then I tell you about it, I'm the same way with my losses. And I messed that one up. But it hurts.
How many times you going to say I? How many times that guy going to say I? Shut up. I'm sorry I'm like this. I am, but I see all this bullshit. He's trying to be a little Stephen A. Smith. He's trying to be hot take guy. He's trying to be a little grandfatherly, a wisdom guy, and he's an idiot. I mean, you punched Jordan Poole, who's a really nice kid. You punched him. You cheap shot at him. Poole never thought that you were going to put the hammer on him. You've destroyed a team, a dynasty, with your stupidity. Your teammates can't stand being around you. All you got to do is watch one game. And basically, you have snatched defeat from the jaws of victory, all for your gain to try and be the next Charles Barkley. You're going to end up the next Frank Kaminsky. Remember Frank Kaminsky? Frank Kaminsky was having a pretty good NBA career. The kid out of Wisconsin averaged 11 points, couple games. Then he tried to be Pat McAfee. He tried to be funny guy. So they put him on the set like they did with Draymond Green for the draft. And Frank Kaminsky bombed miserably, just like Draymond Green did. Now, times have changed. Green has certain advantages, privileges, if you will, that come with being a champion. Next thing you know, Frank Kaminsky was punking out of a fight to defend a teammate, had to go on all kind of media things, and his career was over. He tried to become the funny guy, the media guy. Well, that's what Draymond Green's doing. His career isn't over. But by being the funny guy, the media guy, the whatever guy, he's destroyed his team. And if I'm Klay Thompson or if I'm Steph Curry, I'm like, God dang. Learn the lesson of Frank Kaminsky. Honest to God. National Player of the Year. Started out his career a little slow, got it going, was averaging 11, and next thing you know, he was going to, and then he wanted to be the guy. I don't know where, although Frank Kaminsky ended up marrying very well, at least in the looks department, who the hell knows where that idiot is now? I'm sure he's trying to be funny or pull pranks or do something cute. But damn, it's kind of the same thing. And this guy has ruined a team. And all you got to do is watch. These guys don't want to be around him. How many eye rolls, how many, how many times a year do you see that stuff out of Draymond Green's teammates? And now he wants to celebrate and be all philosophical. Jesus. I got two words for you. My ass.